How are we doing? Here's 3 tips from a 22-year-old who knows nothing. And I'm the 22-year-old in this instance. I think that's a little self-explanatory. Let's get right into it. Okay, so number one, we have you need to fail. The number one thing in life, this is the number one thing that I'm going to say is the most important thing. And I'm not going to wait for you to, wait throughout the whole video. We're going to start it off quick. We're going to start it off good. This is the number one thing. You need to fail in life. You need to make mistakes. You need to learn from those mistakes. You need to understand that failing is okay. We are going to live for a bunch of years. God willing, fingers crossed, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to make a lot of mistakes in those years. You're going to talk to a girl. It might be your future wife. You're going to say something that you probably shouldn't have said. You know what you're going to do? You're going to learn from it. You're going to be in a job. You're going to make a mistake. Guess what you have to do? You're going to learn from it. You want to lose some weight. You're going to have a really good diet for 3-6 months, and then you're going to have a bad month, and that's okay because guess what? You're going to learn from it. And that's the most important thing. Mike Tyson has a quote that says, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Why is that important? Because a lot of people, we all are these very confident beings, but guess what? Once that plan starts messing up, what do? We give up? No. You learn from those mistakes. You get punched in the mouth. What are we going to do then? Guess what? Maybe it's like, just not having your hands in front of your face. You're going to put your hands in front of your face. Or guess what? You're going to take a step out the way when someone punches at you. We're learning. And this is going to put us onto number 2. All right, the number 2 tip from a 22-year-old who knows nothing, and that's me. Start as soon as possible. What does that mean? So we learned about failing. We learned that we're going to fail. And then guess what? You want to start as soon as possible with whatever you're doing in life because you're going to make mistakes. And then by starting so soon, you get those mistakes out early. Let's say you want to start a YouTube channel. You think, I'm going to become the next Mr. Beast. You didn't really realize that he's been doing it since he was like 14 years old. What is he, like in his 20s now? That's a whole lot of time of making videos that kind of suck before he made videos that didn't suck. If you're looking at almost anyone, their first businesses aren't the most successful. And then guess what? Let's say they did find success in their first business. It wasn't some overnight thing. It's something they spent a lot of time in. What is something, think about this. We're going to do a little thought experiment right here. Think about something that you're good at today. What are you good at? It could be school. Maybe it's sports. Maybe it's a music. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's a video game. How long did it take you to, I'd say maybe not video game or whatever. Who cares? We're going to go back to the thought experiment. But let's say take what you're good at. How long did it take you to get there? Really think about it. Is it something you've been doing as a kid? Or were you able to take other learning experiences and move it into this one? Because I'm going to take a guess here, a very educated guess, and say that it's something along those lines where it either took you a while, you learned it as a kid, so you've been doing it for a few years now, or you were able to take experiences and move it into something that, was able to be transferable. So let's say you played a violin and you just kind of picked it up. It took you a year to get good at it, but a year's not that long. But, maybe you played guitar before it and it's a transferable skill. And, that's why you want to start as soon as possible. Maybe you're not necessarily thinking about starting a business and you're like, oh, I want to make, I don't know, charm bracelets and sell them in high school. And you're going to start making those bracelets. And, that's not going to be something you do forever. But you're going to take those skills and it's going to be transferable into something else that you're going to do in life. Just because you start something doesn't mean that has to be the thing that, what you do forever. You can, guess what? A lot of people start businesses and then sell them. And they make a lot of money. And then they use those skills on their next business. It's not just doing something that you love. It's doing something that, I'm going to learn something from it. And that's so insanely important. And stop over analyzing your decisions. Excuse me, so excited, messed up the words. But stop over analyzing every single decision and start just taking risks and start starting today. Think about that. Last but not least, number 3, find, and this is really important right here, do what makes you happy. So what are we talking about here? And trust me, this is something that I think you hear it a lot, but let me really explain it and break it down for you. Because I'm not just here to just say some generic stuff that's, put hard work in. That's not what we're saying here. I want to give you things that are actually beneficial, and I'm really going to explain them. So you have to find what makes you happy. Let's take the first part. So finding what makes you happy isn't this grand idea. So let's say you want to travel in life. Maybe look for a job that helps you travel. It could be remote. It could be a job that maybe you travel for work. Maybe it's a job that you only work half the year. So you work 6 months on and 6 months off. I think there's truckers. I think there's a handful of things that give you that opportunity. And then guess what? You get to do what you want to do. Or you don't make content and become a travel content creator. I'm not saying that's easy, but I am saying that that's a possibility. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean it doesn't take work to do it. It's just, you have to find different things to get you there. So why are we doing that? I think a lot of people get and fall in love with these ideas about what life should be. The white picket fence life, where you have a family, you have a house, and that's what we're working for towards our whole life. And guess what? Not everyone thinks that's the most ideal life. Sometimes even today, it's starting to become a little bit more popularized, but the word entrepreneur is a really important thing. And it's really this like big word now that everyone's like, oh, I gotta be an entrepreneur and I gotta make money and I gotta travel and, all these things. That might just not seem appealing to you. So why are you gonna do it? If it's not something that you enjoy, no amount of money is gonna make it worth it. Do things that you enjoy. So what we're going to do here is find what you want to do. If maybe it's have a family. If you like playing with Legos, find a way to play with Legos. If you like video games, find a way to, have a job doing video games. And I'm not saying this is easy. That is the absolute last thing that I'm saying. That was me just pointing towards the other side of the list. But all I am saying is that you have to figure it out. And then number 2 here is do. So why is that also important and highlight? Of course, if you find it, you're going to do it. Because I think a lot of people, kind of don't really take the steps in order to do it, or take the risks in order to make sure that happens. Because that's just as an important step of the thing. You might know what you want to do, but you might be afraid. You might be anxious. You might be afraid to take that risk. You might be afraid to start. And I think a lot of people just kind of internalize those ideas, push them deep down, and don't end up following what they want to do in life. And honestly, life is way too short for you to be able to do it. It's long in the sense of like, hey, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but it's short in like, hey, you don't have a lot of time to not at least attempt to try to be happy. Because that's all you can do, right? You can attempt it. And guess what? If you attempt it and it doesn't work, that's okay. But at the end of the day, you have to just kind of figure out the things for yourself. If you think one of these things is helpful, I'm so happy that you were able to find help. If all 3 were helpful, I'm even happier. If none were helpful, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for wasting 10 minutes, or if it's less, I don't know. But you know what? Hear me out with one more thing, because this is also going to be a tip. It's going to be a little bit more on the non-life influential side, but just hold on real quick, 1 second. Listen, you have to check out Amberjack shoes. I understand it's not as influential as everything else, but guess what? Having a dress shoe that you can feel comfortable in if you're just walking around the city. I was walking around Italy with these shoes on, and one, they're super just nice. This is the slip-on, but also they look super nice, but they're also so comfortable. You see the soles right here? They're like these like athletic-ish soles. So you feel like you're just, in like a athletic shoe, but you also look great doing it. So, you got to check them out. This right here, again, the slip-on, I think it's the chestnut color. But like, comment, subscribe on the video. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.